Hello and welcome to this special episode of VGC, the video game podcast. It's our Nintendo Switch 2 predictions podcast. I'm joined by Chris Scullion and Andy Robinson to chat all about Nintendo's next console, say what we think is going to happen, and then obviously, as we do with everything, make it into a competition. How you doing, Chris?
I'm doing good. I'm very excited. This is an exciting time. Console launches are always an exciting time, but Nintendo more so, I think.
This is your bread and butter. More exciting than the PS5 Pro, would you say?
Infinitely so. Infinitely so.
Infinite is also nothing, so you're saying it's not even slightly more exciting than the PS5 Pro?
Well, speaking your maths.
VGC's PS5 Pro, Andy Robinson, how you doing?
All right, yeah, I'm ready. Yeah. Ready for games.
Ready for games.
Give me the games.
I'm also very excited. I'm looking forward to... Although it's a situation where we largely know, we know what the console looks like now. They're not going to come out and be like, oh, look at this. It's got 18 analog sticks on it. It's still pretty exciting. So the way this is going to work, we're going to go around the blower. We have got 3 franchises that we predict will appear at the broadcast this week. We're also going to predict the price, an unexpected gimmick, what the thing is people will moan about because it's Nintendo, and a couple of bonus balls. For the end, I was going to say as Mr. Nintendo and then say someone's name, but I feel like the Mr. Nintendo battle between the two of you is quite difficult.
We are the Nintendo brothers.
Yeah.
We're Mr. Nintendo.
The Super Nintendo brothers. I will go first to Chris Scullion. Chris, give me your first franchise that will appear. And before we do this, Sam B, I'm talking to you, brother. You're in charge of keeping score of this. You're the arbiter, especially when we get into later on when it can be interpreted for some of these answers. We're going to need a consensus thought.
In the interest of fairness, I'm not going to go down the easy route because I could be greedy and go points and go Mario. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to open with Monster Hunter.
Monster Hunter?
I think we're going to get a Monster Hunter. Especially now that because Wilds is out and not on Switch, there'll be a lot of Nintendo will be going, we kind of need a Monster Hunter on here. Mm-hmm. And Capcom will be saying, don't worry, we'll get you sorted with them. It might not be Wilds necessarily, it might be a Switch only one, but Monster Hunter.
Okay. I think. Other Nintendo brother, what is your prediction?
What brand is going to be present at launch?
Yeah, sure. Give me your first of your 3 franchises. No, this is for this presentation specifically.
Am I allowed to say Mario Kart? Is that cheating?
So you just ignore totally what I just said. I was doing the decent thing.
No,
take your point.
No, that's not fair. Final Fantasy VII.
Oh,
very specific as well.
Yeah, the first one, or you think they'll do both?
Probably first one.
Just hit with that music and everything. They hit the intro and then it's actually just the PS1 version again. Like it's not the remake. Okay, my first, and I think this is the lock of the week. Civilization. I think this is an absolute guaranteed one, considering 2K were like, Firaxis rather were like, yeah, we chucked out a load of development because of how good it sold on the Switch. They're going to want to be there day one. So my first prediction is Civilization.
My only question to that is Civilization big in Japan? Because this is a global presentation.
Don't know. But I suppose the last...
who cares whether it's big in Japan?
as we watched from the Switch 1 presentation, they just get anyone up there.
I suppose FIFA was there.
Patrick Soderlund going, yeah, we'll make games for this, I suppose.
It depends what you're saying. If you're saying it's going to appear in the presentation, it doesn't have to be like, here's 10 minutes on Civ. They're not going to do that.
It's just going to be like a, wow,
are we counting stuff that's part of a sizzle reel?
Yeah.
Okay. Then
it's pretty easy segment this, isn't it?
Points mean prizes.
Actually, I think you should get more points for picking a game that's not going to be there.
Alex Kidd in Miracle World
GTA 6
won't be there.
Scullion, we go back round the horn to you.
Okay, I'm going for a safe one, but not 100% safe one. I'm going to say Splatoon 4 will be there.
Splatoon 4? That's pretty big.
Splatoon is notorious, oddly popular in Japan, and Nintendo seem to love really pushing it home with every opportunity it gets. So I think Splatoon 4 is
is it just going to be the same game again, like Splatoon 3 was?
Yep, but highly defined.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, certainty.
I think that's actually quite a good shout, Andy.
Smash Brothers.
Smash Brothers? What are they going to do? Is it just going to be Ultimate again?
My life would be over if they announced Smash Brothers. I'd be delighted.
Oh, Smash Brothers. I think that's...
I don't think it's going to be there. I think they'll announce it.
They'll announce it.
Okay. Well, I don't think they... I'm going to put it out there as a wild guess. Sakurai's back working again, right? Has been for at least 18 months. It's such a huge game. There's no way they're going to let, even if Sakurai passed on it, they'd still be working on it somewhere. And they announced it very early last time. It came out year 2, came out 2018. So it came out about roughly a year after Switch 1 came out. So I think they're going to adopt, I think it's quite easy to figure out. This is a pretty easy segment because I think they're just going to replicate what they did with the original Switch, which is they need every franchise there year 1. Or present in some form. And I think that's what we're going to see. I think you're going to get Smash. I think you're going to get Pokemon. I think you're going to get Kirby.
Oh,
Mario Party.
Spoilers. He doesn't get credit for any of those. It's only the ones that were official answers. I'm going to go for the layup here. Fire Emblem. I think we have a big segment, a big boring anime segment. So it's like, you must get the crown of Jewel Thrax. And then Andy goes, what the fuck are we watching this for? That's my prediction. Fire Emblem is going to be there. And it's out. I have no idea. But Fire Emblem's my next prediction. Chris Scullion.
There'll be a period where they go through all the third parties like they did with the Switch one. And then suddenly all the lights go out and all you hear is...
The Undertaker.
And you get Halo.
Some
sort of Halo collection on the Switch. Halo on the go for the first time. That's your big...
That's disrespectful.
One of your big bombshells.
What was the name of the Halo game on Microsoft Windows phones? Was there not one of those?
It's also disrespectful to Steam Deck as well, because you can get Master Chief Collection on Steam, can't you?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think you're going to get Halo on Switch in some form or another.
Andy, you're going to put your bread on the line like that?
I think as locked in as you can possibly be is some kind of Zelda remaster.
Okay.
They're 100%. There's gonna be some representation of Zelda in that first year. It's way too soon to be talking about a new game unless there's some other spin-off we just don't know about. So some form, even if it's enhanced Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom double pack, or if it's those kind of Wii U remakes that we've been waiting for ages, or some kind of other remake or remaster. I think we're going to get Zelda something that's been outsourced. Zelda needs to be there year 1, and I see little, else they can do to make that happen.
Yeah, I can see that.
That's a shout.
I'm going to say, this is very. They'd maybe not do it, considering. Yeah, this is pie in the sky stuff. I think you get Death Stranding on Nintendo Switch 2. The original Death Stranding. That's my prediction. I think
that's not wild.
I think these are all pretty soft predictions.
I mean, you can't get much softer than Smash Brothers.
I think you're gonna. Yeah, no. Other than mine is what I mean. You guys they're gonna port this PS4 game. Yes. You're going to see more ports than any other system in history, right? This is basically PS4 was where console games sort of peaked in terms of technical prowess, right? Even PS5 games now are basically PS4 games, right? As we saw when they backtracked. This is just a fucking fact, mate. As we can see, okay, right. I'll just say some facts, and you can tell me whether that's true. So when they said all these PS5 games cannot be run on PS4, and then they just ported them to PS4 anyway, as we can see, Xbox Series S is basically a PS4, right? There are no console games in existence right now, other than very few, that don't run on a weaker PC, an Xbox Series S, or a PS4. Therefore, Switch is basically going to be able to run anything from the last 10 years of console games on the other side, other than the obvious, like those few exclusive PS5 Series X games. So you're going to see all of it get there eventually. All of it. You're going to have Elden Ring and Cyberpunk and every big game from PS4,
Ring,
early PS5. You're going to see, Xbox is going to move all its stuff over there. Of course it is. Indiana Jones and Forza. It's all going to be on there. There's going to be so many ports on this thing. It's going to be ridiculous.
Elden Ring's a good shout. That's one of us should have said that. That feels like a stick on.
Yeah.
Elden Ring, you would imagine.
That'd be a cool one.
Especially how close
and
Nintendo
Doom.
are with Bandai. And Doom. Given how close Nintendo are with Bandai Namco, then Elden Ring seems like a no-brainer.
Yeah. Well, those are currently our three predictions. Scullion has Monster Hunter, Splatoon 4, and Halo on Switch. Andy has FF7, Smash Bros, and Zelda Remaster. I have Civilization, Fire Emblem, and Death Stranding. There's 9 there. I bet we get 6 of those. I bet some will fall through the cracks, but I think 6 are pretty nailed on.
I think we'll see all 9 eventually, just not on the night.
Yeah. Next up, I would like price in Great British pounds. I will start with this one. I won't be too because prices as such. If we have the same price, that's fine. That doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
I think the Nintendo Switch 2 will be £450. That's my prediction.
Bloody hell!
Fuck's sake.
Well, I think it'll be 450. Also, if it's 4499, count that. But that is my prediction. 450. Great British Brexiteer pounds. Andy, your prediction?
370.
Okay.
It's very close to mine.
Without a game.
Without a game, okay, interesting. Oh, but this is the bog standard. Obviously, they might do bundles and stuff, but
you asking me now, or are you just?
No, that's it. Oh, yes,
I just went blank. I'm thinking dollars $399, euros $399, pounds $379.
Oh, interesting. 379.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Chris.
That's where we're going.
I don't know. I just think things are expensive these days. You ever been to Asda? You know how expensive it is these days?
Never out of Asda, mate.
Yeah.
Sit in the car park, just get my moment of peace.
I suppose maybe 450 is the version that comes with Mario Kart. I don't know, but I think that we're all.
I don't think you'll get a game. I don't think you'll get a game bundled with it.
No, not at all.
Not if they're pushing virtual digital card shit. They'll want people to have the option to buy digital if they want to.
Yeah, I think you'll get. Well, to be fair, I think it'll be. I don't think it'll be a physical game. I think it'll be a code in a box.
I think there'll be 2 colours instead. I think you'll be buying your colour rather than buying the game. I think. I'm guessing, obviously, but
yeah,
that's my guess. A white one or a red and blue one or whatever. 2 colours to decide this time.
At the Switch 1 launch, there wasn't an actual Zelda bundle, was there?
There was just a grey one.
Retailers just did, because I got mine with Zelda, but I think that was just something that Amazon slapped together, like a kind of ad hoc thing. Yeah. When's the last time a console launched with an actual, like a game bundle and not just
Nintendo Land was Wii U, yeah.
PS4 had an Assassin's Creed Black Flag bundle. Yeah, that's a pack-in. That's not really the same
is
thing.
That not what we're talking about?
No, like a bundled game, like the box not just being the standard box.
We're talking about a launch.
Yeah.
So Wii U then with Nintendo Land.
They didn't do any for PS5, did they? Like a different retail box.
So. No.
Must have been Wii U.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it doesn't make much sense, because if someone's buying a console, they're going to buy a game.
Yeah.
Early adopters,
or are they? Because all your Nintendo.
No, but I mean early adopters. If you're buying a Switch on day one, you're buying a bunch of games with it. That's why they can take risks with kind of lesser stuff like 1-2 Switch at launch, because people just buy. Even I bought 1-2 Switch. But you look at like, you just buy any old shit, don't you? Yeah, I'm getting it, and I'm gonna get Bomberman R and Puyo Tetris.
Puyo Tetris is a great game. Don't disrespect Puyo Tetris.
It's half good. I've never read any Puyo. But Tetris I'm all over. Puyo can get fucked.
Okay, I'm interested in this one. Chris, give me your unexpected gimmick I feel like and also the mouse doesn't count because
no, that's fully expected.
Yeah.
This is a kind of 2-in-1 because they both go together.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to have an online community hub, but like a world based on that online playtest they did.
Okay.
That people have forgotten about, and working alongside that with the whole patent, like you spin the Switch upside down and put a USB-C in the middle top of the console. I think they're going to release a webcam for it.
Interesting.
Not necessarily just for your face, but for taking photos of things that you
Yeah.
can then put in. I think there'll be webcam feature somehow.
Yeah, do you think that they would have to beef up their like friend system for that then? Like, because their social system is kind of just
that could be that's your C button. No, what's your C button? What does that do? Is that people are rumouring some sort of community feature?
It stands for chaps. That's where you go and see all the chaps that are also playing.
It stands for copyright. Anytime you need to get Nintendo's lawyers, just press that. If Power World comes out on it.
Yeah. Andy, an unexpected gimmick.
There's going to be some sort of second screen functionality.
Here we go.
Yeah, I've been saying it for a while. That I don't know what that C button does, but it's clearly something integral, right? But the big one for me is that USB-C port they put on the top. Nintendo do not spend money on frivolous stuff. They do not care that you have to pull the thing out to charge it, like to charge it from the bottom. They really don't care. Like, that's an inconvenience you can put up with for them to save you 10p on a USB port. If they've put that there, it's for a reason. It's going to do something. That's a pretty big guess. I do think that they're hankering to get back to second screen. It's the only console they've pretty much ever done for the last 20 years, right? Switch that doesn't have second screen functionality. You just think about, for a start, all of that library of games that is there to be harvested to charge you money and drip feed for the next 10 years that they could put on. If they could do that, I mean, okay, yeah, they can, they can emulate it with, kind of inelegantly with just like sticking two screens on the one. But that's my big guess. That's my biggest. If it's not that, then they're going to stick some stupid peripheral on the top. But I don't,
like a webcam. But you might get your 2-in-1 then if you might get your screen and you might get Star Fox Zero announced at the same time to make use of it. You finally get your Star Fox Zero port on the Wii U.
They're going to use that port on the top for the little Guitar Hero clasp that you could put onto the Nintendo DS.
Listen, Fortnite Festival.
Exactly.
It's big among the kids.
Mine is, I think there's going to be a huge push for this console towards Nintendo's own social media. I think that Nintendo Today app thing is a canary in the coal mine for account integration and like a version of what was the thing on the Wii U called again? The Miiverse, like a modern version of that that's really video focused. So like, I
think it's more about not having to deal with Elon Musk anymore.
Well, yeah, exactly.
I mean, they didn't even tweet that Zelda news. They didn't even tweet it.
Yeah,
this is the sign of things to come. Why are we dealing with these like volatile social media platforms that are putting all sorts of horrible shit next to our brand when our fans will go where we are?
Yeah. So I think the gimmick for me is better capture controls, where obviously now if you can get screenshots and video clips, but I think there'll be a way to maybe format that a bit better for socials, be it TikTok or their personal socials. So maybe it spits out like a nice vertical video rather than just like a load of crap. I also think the quality of the captures will be much better and not the bloodiest screenshots you've ever seen like they currently do. But yeah, I think maybe that's not something that surfaces right now because that's a bit heady and they only just rolled out the Nintendo Today. But I think by the end of Switch 2, we're talking about Nintendo Today as a like more of a social platform that we're all on and we're all posting pictures of Donkey Kong's Diddies, etc. But yeah,
possibly.
My favourite part. You two have been around the horn long enough to probably have good guesses for this. What is the thing that people will moan about, Andy Robinson?
Shit launch games.
Yeah.
Or more elegantly, the lack of a meaty first-party single-player game at launch.
Do you not think we're getting Mario? Do you not think that's this
not
year?
At launch, no. They'll put it out at Christmas. I think there'll be a 3D Mario. Yeah, there's simply been too long. But Mario Kart, I mean, it doesn't it could be the best Mario Kart ever. Doesn't excite me. You know, I mean, obviously, I know we haven't seen it and stuff, but I want a big meaty single player game for my new Nintendo console, right? I mean, we had Switch had Breath of the Wild, one of the best games ever made at launch. Then you had Wii U, kind of had nothing, like Nintendo Land.
Zombie U, come on.
Then people stumbled with that one for ages. You know, Wii had Twilight Princess.
Mm-hmm.
GameCube had the trifecta of Monkey Ball, Wave Race, Luigi's Mansion, plus some great third-party games like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, Rogue Leader. N64 had Mario 64. Super Nintendo had Super Mario World. I think they're going to go in and they're going to have Mario Kart on day one, and they're going to have a gimmicky title for the mouse control, a 1-2 switch type game that is Mario game Paint. Built around. I don't think it'll be Mario Paint, so I can't see Mario Paint working today because everyone's got MS Paint, right? I just don't know what they would do with that. I'd be delighted if they did. That'd be cool, like a personality title. But I think they'll do some kind of mainstream targeted mouse thing for launch with Mario Kart, and then maybe they'll drip feed some first party stuff up to Christmas. You'll get a 3D Mario November time.
Yeah, I suppose that comes into, we'll talk about it at the end when we've talked about like release date and stuff like that. But when I was saying, do you not think Mario, in my head this is still coming out like when consoles come out at Christmas time, but obviously it's pretty clearly not at this point. So
here's a slightly left field one for the mouse, a new Mario Maker, potentially with 3D integration.
It'd make it much quicker to make shite if with the mouse stuff, or if they just put 1 and 2 in a bundle and not, because I feel like 2 people didn't go crazy for because it was harder to make stuff on Switch than it was on Wii U, because that was like the perfect Wii U game.
It didn't sell very well either.
Yeah,
by their standards. It's a shame because it's really, really good. The second one, I think it's got the best 2D Mario campaign.
Yeah,
it's got great levels. They took all the costumes out. That was the only thing I was disappointed by. Now you could scan an amiibo in the first one.
Oh yeah, plays tall Luigi. That could be interesting.
That could be great with a mouse. Yeah.
A Mario Maker, but it's.
But the thing is, I'm struggling with a mouse, right? I mean, obviously I don't think they'd put it in if they didn't have, some good ideas for it. But I'm still sort of struggling what a mouse is going to let me do on Switch 2 that gyro aiming isn't.
Yeah.
Because like someone was like, I listened to a podcast recently, and he was, Civilization's going to be amazing with a mouse. Is it? It's got a big touchscreen on it. Guess what the next evolution of a mouse is? A big touchscreen. That's better than a mouse. I mean, okay, you could go maybe first-person shooters, but then gyro aiming is pretty great on a couch these days.
It's okay. I something about gyro I don't get along with. I don't know why. I think a mouse is more accurate.
Yeah, I could see that. If you're going to play, esports Counter-Strike, but are those games going to be on Switch too? I mean, maybe they will, but you're going to play them? Don't think so.
Yeah, it's a weird one. I'm welcoming it. I mean, the genre that's obvious is point and clicks, even though it's a kind of dead genre. But personally, I'd like to see more of those.
I just don't see it. I just don't see it. Like the evolution of a mouse was a touchscreen, and they did that 20 years ago. I just don't see what it's going to, on a console, that it's going to give me, on a portable console.
I mean, is this not a risk of just being like the IR sensor on the current Switch, where they do stuff on it for a year and then they need it.
Every console has its gimmick at launch. Every console, right? That they then quickly ditch. You do need the shiny thing.
What if the gimmick is a web browser, and they finally do what they tried to do before with the Wii and the Opera browser, and they finally let you browse the internet on your TV using your Switch with a mouse?
Yeah, but I mean,
I'm not 100% serious there, but
yeah, but obviously the first thing you go to is Nintendo going to want to have thousands of people watching porn via their Switch too, but because that's largely, and obviously there's a security risk. Like that's the reason they quote unquote took out the PS5, even though you can easily access the browser on the PS5. Yeah, it's a weird one, but it might make browsing that terrible eShop better. Having a mouse if they change the display of that, but
again, touching for it is it's not worse than having a mouse. The problem with the shop is that it runs like it's being run on 2 bowls of custard. Like it's ridiculous. Like they just need to give that thing some RAM.
Yeah. Chris, what is the thing people will moan about?
A lack of themes or any customization.
Yeah.
Certainly, at least at launch, I think you're still going to get black theme, white theme.
No personality.
No. Yeah. No achievements.
That is a crying shame, that is. Because I agree with you. I think it is going to be like that.
Yeah.
And that is such a tragic turn of events, right? I mean, Wii U, so, say what you want, it was slow and all the rest of it, but just absolutely crammed with personality, Why on earth would... I mean, I understand, right? Like, Switch was the last throw of the dice, but why would you get rid of Miiverse and Street Pass?
Oh, Street Pass is
just 2 of the greatest console features, Yeah, let's get rid of those. What we need is something that looks like it runs on Android,
They must bring Street Pass back. That for me, for the handheld functionality, if you're making a handheld, do it. There was no better. Again, I get, like Andy says, I get that. And when the Switch came out, it was a roll of the dice because Wii U was such a dismal failure. It was like, if we don't get this right, things are going to look really bad for us. So they played it safe with the Switch. Let's not piss around. Let's not do anything that will slow down the OS in any way whatsoever. Like you said, like we've said, Wii U, it needed RAM, and the Switch eShop needs RAM to kind of get the operating system running faster. There's more power going into this, but there's no kind of reason why we can't replace a black background with a bloody Mushroom Kingdom background, something, just to put a bit of colour in
PNG,
and then give us Street Pass, because it's devastating not having that. We're going around knowing everyone's got their Switch with them, and you're not getting that interactivity where you can unlock the cool wee pictures and stuff like that. That was
so good. Like that is that's a core memory now. Because I was even thinking how I'd explain to my kids. Like, it just feels so like antiquated now, right? Like, back in 2012, when you used to visit Tokyo, you used to fill up the Street Pass, kind of counter in 5 minutes.
It's crazy because the Wii U and 3DS era, those are both systems where on regular basis I would turn them on and have a great time never playing a single game on them.
Yeah,
you would
I
used to
use it every day just for that reason, right?
I'd go on the tube home from work, put on Street Pass and spend my trip home playing the Street Pass games and getting my Street Pass and the puzzle pieces. I'd go home, put the Wii U on, browse Miiverse, see all the daft pictures people had drawn and all that one weird guy who would review the water in every game. All that kind of, like it had its own wee community, and like it's like I've been on this for 2 hours and I haven't played a game yet. That's enough for today. It's like, it was amazing, and that the Switch is sorely missing that personality, and I hope that comes back, but I don't see it.
My thing that I think people will complain about, and this might not come from Nintendo fans, I think this will come from the wider gamerati. I think people will moan that the games don't look very good from a presentational perspective. I think there will be an expectation of graphical jumpitude that is unrealistic and not what Nintendo focus on. And I think there'll be a lot of people going, "Oh, why am I spending £400 on games that just look like an enhanced Switch?" I think there'll be a lot of, "Oh, it's just a Switch Pro," or "It just looks a little bit better. It's not a proper console jump."
You get a single screenshot from one bit of a video where the background looks quite sparse, and that'll do the rounds. Everyone says it looks like a PS2, and that'll be the one thing that people decide that sums it up. But
that is my expectation. But I think that that'll come from the fact that being negative about things sells currently incredibly well. So there has to be something to glom onto. So there has to be, like, if they show good games, you can't go, "Oh well, they've got no games." And if it's like a decent price, they can't go, "Oh, it's overpriced." But if they have one compressed to JPEG, they can go, "The graphics look shite. It looks like a PS1 game." That's my prediction.
Can't wait.
What do you two think about the idea that it might be positioned more as a pro upgrade rather than a
I think
that's
exactly what it's going to be positioned as. I think they've, as Chris String said on our last pod, because they publish their active users, right? There's over like 100 million active users still on Switch for a 7-8-year-old console. That's ridiculous. Like, they can't just walk away from that. They can't.
Yeah.
They're in a difficult situation where they need to like encourage a transition, but also not kind of kill off all of it. They're kind of competing with themselves, in a sense. So yeah, that's why I suspect that they're going to position it like in terms of price, and like, you know, positioning that you can play on Switch, but this thing will, you know, play all your Switch games and they'll be better. And they also have like these few titles.
Yeah.
You know, this is the Apple do it. If anyone who's ever bought an Apple device, like if you're going to get an iPad or something like that, there's or an iPhone, there's like 50 different versions, and they're all like £100 apart from each other, because it's just that makes you like just go up a tier. Oh, if I pay £100 more, I'll just do this.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much how it's going to go. So far, the predictions are for franchises that'll appear. Chris has Monster Hunter, Splatoon 4, Halo on Switch. Andy has FF7, Smash Brothers, and Zelda. I have Civilization, Fire Emblem, and Death Stranding. For cost, I have £450. Andy has £370. Chris has £379. For unexpected gimmicks, Chris has a potential webcam. Andy has second screen functionality, and I have social media integration. Andy thinks that launch games are the thing that people are going to complain about. Chris thinks the lack of personality, and I think that the games don't look too good. Are you ready for your bonus balls?
Always.
Get your bonus balls ready in your hands. Chris, you can go first.
Thanks.
Yes or no? Do Switch 1 games get boosted out the box?
No.
Okay.
I think that it needs to be turned on a game-by-game basis.
Is that blanket? There's no kind of games with unlocked frame rates suddenly are.
I mean, who's to say? Like, because obviously they unlocked the Switch 1 for Mortal Kombat, one of the Mortal Kombats, and just kind of overclocked it and it ran better. Mm-hmm. So you might get kind of situations like that where it depends how the old kernel is programmed. Like when you launch a Switch 1 game on your Switch 2, does it do what the Wii U and Wii did and completely shut down the console and reload as the other console? Or is our Switch 1 games running through the same Switch 2 ecosystem, in which case, yeah, you probably will see a boost. But the fact that Nintendo recently referred to Switch 2 software and Switch 2 edition software suggests that you're going to get, this is to Andy's point about them trying to integrate the 130 million people over from one to the other, is you're going to going forward see games that will be released on Switch and Switch 2 in different versions. And I don't know if that's you buy one and get them both, or you have to choose one or the other. I don't know yet, but yeah, so I don't think they'll automatically, I think they'll say all of these games you've got will suddenly be great on Switch 2. I think each one will need to be patched or turned on at least at a certain level.
Andy?
Yes and no. Well, basically what Chris said. I think just by their nature, there'll be some stuff that with unlocked frame rates that kind of runs better, you know, just by the nature of being on a faster system. But the Switch editions, you know, they've given it a name. They're going to sell those. They're going to drip feed them. It's going to be the new, like, monthly drop. Like, oh, look, now you can play, you know, Kirby Lost World, you know, with Forgotten World, sorry, like with prettier graphics, and we've done this. Also, wouldn't be surprised if they charge for them.
What you thinking?
And they link it in with Switch Online.
Oh yeah, I could see that. So no boost mode, like the PS5 had that random flicked switch that was just like a
But the thing is,
boost.
Nintendo don't talk about things that doesn't matter to a mainstream audience.
Yeah,
like, and mainstream audience do not care that the game runs 5 frames faster. They don't care, so they won't talk about that at all. They'll if they do talk about it, it'll be the Switch editions. It'll be a meaningful thing that they can attach value to a service. Yeah. Like for them, the means to the end there is that they can attach value, perceive value to Switch Online, and say, "Oh, look, you get this." I mean, and the game that probably will be used to demonstrate will be Metroid Prime, right? Yeah. That'll be, like, to my point, like earlier when I was talking about the launch lineup, I was kind of forgetting about Metroid a little bit, but I still think they'll space it out. Like Metroid will probably come out on Switch 1 with a Switch 2 edition, like a month after launch or something like that.
Yeah. Pokemon.
Switch Online's a good shout though. Like tying it to that, that makes sense, because I don't think they get away charging even 20 or 30 quid.
Because that's going to be a big part of this that you need to think about, is that Switch Online is going to be a big part. People already have their accounts. They already have their stuff. They need to add some value. So it's going to be something like that. I just get the feeling because that Switch edition's been named in the small print for the virtual game cards.
Yeah.
That sort of feels like a thing, right? That they might do like that. I can't see them like going, oh, look, you can play these new retro games, because it's sort of, that feels like you're being gatekept, right? Mm-hmm. Like if they go, oh, look, we got GameCube games or we got DS games. Well, why haven't you got them on Switch 1?
I think they'll tie it to the expansion pass for the Switch Online, because like they did with the DLC on Mario Kart. They'll basically say these Switch 2 editions will be the Switch 1 editions with a Switch 2 DLC like boost added to it, and you can pay $10 for it if you want, or if you got the online expansion pass, then you'll get it automatically as part of the DLC. I think they'll do it like that, just like a bolt on.
Yeah,
hopefully.
I could see that as well. My prediction is also no. I don't think they're going to work automatically or anything like that. Specifically because of this edition thing, and it makes more sense for them to be like controlling about it rather than because you don't know what weird things could happen if you just let it be a generic boost and not every game was tested, and that's not very Nintendo of them. So yeah, it'll be Switch 2 editions. Like Pokemon ZA is going to be a Switch 1, Switch 2. It's going to be a great laugh for people that do comparison videos. Digital Foundry will be rubbing their hands with stuff like that. But yeah, nothing directly out of the box. I still think there's scope for that first week for people to be like, oh, this is weird. Hyrule Warriors looks a million times better and runs so much better. Although it'd be very Nintendo for them then to turn that stuff off and be like, excuse me, you'll go back to your 15 frames a second. But yeah. Final bonus ball. Release date to the day. Now, the way this will be scored, Sam, 5 points if you get it bang on, and then a point off for every day you are off. And if you're further than 5 days away, you get hee-haw. Chris Scullion, your prediction.
Friday, June 20.
Friday, June 2025, okay.
Just to be clear. Yep.
Well, this is an awkward moment because my prediction is Friday, June 20, 2025. Andy for the hat trick.
I'm going for Thursday, June the 12th.
The glorious 12th. Interesting.
And Thursday? Why are you thinking Thursday?
They started releasing all their stuff on Thursday a year ago, right?
Did they?
Yeah. They moved their release dates to Thursdays.
And they wouldn't release it on
Friday.
Why
did they do that? Is that for software charge purposes though?
No idea, but they did. I mean, that doesn't. I don't think when they release software has no bearing of when they release hardware anyway. I've just plucked it. I'm pretty sure. I mean, it's like they'll be releasing it based on either they're going to be looking at like the US summer holidays, which I think start late May. Yeah, like I think it's going to be, it'd be one of us. Yeah, it's going to be the second or third week of June.
So we are guaranteed that we will get back from SGF and be absolutely shagged, and then immediately have to go into Switch 2 stuff. Woohoo!
Can't wait.
Good thing it's portable.
Yeah, indeed. That'll be some laugh.
They released the last one in the middle of GDC.
Yeah, I mind you saying you're like scrambling to try and get a hold of one. Are we thinking the pre-orders are that like this weekend? Do you think?
Yeah. You don't announce anything in games these days without having a call to action, right?
It's interesting.
There's literally no point.
Because Walmart Canada said pre-order started on the 2nd and then took it down again. And people are saying, why did they do that? So I wonder if pre-order exclusivity will be on My Nintendo for a week and then open to everyone else. But that'd be great if they did that. It'd be great, but I don't see it.
Pokemon
one per subscriber. Like if you're part of My Nintendo, you
do the pre-orders on the Pokemon Center. That's how we do it. The flawless Pokemon Center. Get the little Pikachu in the queue going.
You can only pre-order it from the Van Gogh Museum in Holland.
10 a.m.
Nah, I'll be doing what I always do. I'll wait for Amazon. I've never had any issues with getting a console on Amazon. But we'll see.
I don't think it'll be as tricky to get one. It'll be tricky, obviously, because you'll obviously have to get scalpers. But I think it sounds like, I mean, Nintendo have said a couple of times now that they were doing everything they can to avoid scalping by making sure there's enough available.
I think part of the reason that, I mean, this clearly needed to come out last year, this system. I think a big reason of them, kind of deciding to launch it this year is making sure that there's enough stock. The fact that there's been so many leaks over the last 6 months is probably because they've been making the things. I would be kind of surprised if they don't have a whole ton of them sat in a warehouse right now. Well, they will if it's coming out in a couple of months.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, that's our Nintendo Switch 2 prediction podcast, soon to be incredibly out of date, but we'll do we'll spin back around once all the Nintendo Switch 2 stuff
Before we
is done
finish,
next week.
better real talk here.
It's real talk, right, everyone?
This is real talk.
Right, okay.
This is a big week for us. This is an important week. This is obviously Nintendo console launches are a big deal for us. Me in particular, and Andy as well. I know you like a console launch.
I don't give a shit.
I'll speak for me then personally.
I only like a console when it's £800. Continue.
Well, of course. But just by some weird coincidence, like every Nintendo console has been released at different stages of my life. So like it feels like everyone feels like a new chapter. So like when the NES came out,
Chris?
No, this is legitimate. So when the NES came out, I was like 4 or 5.
40.
That was like the kind of earliest thing. SNES was like 10, 11.
16.
So that was like kind of, you know what I mean? Like that part of your life. N64 was when I was a teenager, early teenager. GameCube was uni. Wii was like the weeks after my career started. Wii U was like when my dream job like stopped, and then I get moved about, and you're like, no, but that's another part. That's another part of the career, and it's like, well, then you're like, what's going on with my life? And Switch came out when I'd moved back to Scotland. I was freelance, and we're about to have a kid. And I'm like, what's going on here? And now Switch 2 is coming out at like this point where I've now got a family where I'm on like a different site. So this isn't just like for a lot of people, like for me, this isn't just the 8th Nintendo console. This is like level 8 of my life. Do you know what I mean? Like about to start. And I am delighted to be spending it with you two. You two are going to be part of level 8 of my life. So this is a big week for us. So let's do it.
Jordan, when this goes to edit, can you add some like stirring music?
My tea's gone cold. I'm wondering why.
Show some. Fuck your Switch. Fuck your Switch.
And with that, we'll see you next week. Enjoy all of our Nintendo Switch 2 coverage. From me, Jordan Midler, it's goodbye. From Andy, say goodbye.
Bye.
Say goodbye, Chris.
No, get fucked.
Up on Nintendo Switch 2, and we'll see you next time.